I am.
Still hungry.
You are.
You are too.
I know. Don't bother me now. Yes. I'm giving you my answer now.
I think it was the time for that.
It could have been.
Just saying.
Yeah. What you want? What you want?
Public guidelines. Oh, everybody sitting down. I've got to stand up again.
So you walked from your office to the courthouse?
How did you know that?
All
All right, let's call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Archie,
Present.
Bolin,
Present.
Gadding,
Present.
Johnston,
Present.
Verrett,
Present.
Wells,
Present.
Williams.
Present.
At this time, let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're on to item D, Superintendent's Report. Good news. Ms. Harris?
Good evening, Board of Education. I am so honored and pleased to report about Kankakee Junior High School's first I Commit retreat, which was a vision of my leadership team to address the culture of the junior high school. And a part of the retreat was to provide introspection, reflection, and connection amongst our school community. During this opportunity, we had the keynote speaker, Dr. Solomon Thomas, Principal L from Philadelphia. He is a turnaround principal, and he provided a great keynote address in regards to committing to our students and being dedicated to our craft of education and being crazy about our students. And so with that, he also, he has this graphic, and I'm wearing this shirt, about I choose to stay, which is our hashtag for this year, hashtag I commit, and being committed to excellence in education in our classrooms. So with that, this is good news, and it's also a gift or opportunity for gifts for you guys, because I have books and shirts for each board member, superintendent, and the cabinet as well. So I want to present you with this gift at this time from the Kankakee Junior High School.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wrong person.
Right here.
Your seat on me. Okay, Archie, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You need some help? You need some help, Darrell could help you.
Mary is a helper.
That was funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I just want to comment while you're here. I was so impressed with your locker
Day?
day.
Yes.
Very enthusiastic.
Thank you. One of my goals is to bring back the joy in education. I think one thing that we have to do is, helps to spark the passion of learning in our students. So bringing back the joy and energy back into education. Yay.
That's good news, okay. I wanted to make a comment. I wanted to say I have heard so many good things about you. Your name is buzzing, and I'm excited. The students are excited. I've had several parents contact me and tell me they're excited, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do this school year. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Thank you.
So much.
Okay. Now we're on to item 2, transportation.
Mr. Savage?
Good evening, everybody. Well, as everyone knows, first day of school was today, so it's great to see all the kids back in the building. We did have some issues with our transportation this morning and this afternoon. We were working hard all day with our bus company to reduce those issues for tomorrow. We had just over 20 routes this morning that would not land due to driver shortage from the bus company. The bus company also had a few drivers not show up for work for different reasons. And then, of course, that's kind of a domino effect as we go through the day. In the afternoon, we had the same issue again. We worked with the bus company to make sure they did a much better job of coming back through and picking those students up and running those routes so that all our students could get home. I worked with the bus company and just got an email from them about 6:50 tonight before I came into the meeting. And right now, we have 2 bus routes in the morning and 5 in the afternoon that we're still trying to figure out how we're going to cover in the most efficient way. So that is down from over 20. Again, 5 routes, though, is too many, in my opinion, and we're going to keep working to make sure that we get that down to 0, because if your child is on that route, it doesn't matter if 50 routes made it on time. If your child was late or was not picked up and had to wait at the bus stop or came home late, that's the most important thing to you, and that's the most important thing to us. So we will be working feverishly throughout this entire week to work out any kinks in the buses and figure out how we can help the bus company address their bus driver shortage and make sure that we're getting all students to school. And when they get to school, we have great teachers, great principals, great administrators, great janitors, and great cafeteria workers that will feed them, teach them, inspire them, and make them the best people that they can be as they go through our school district.
So I just do want to make a comment. There is still a bus driver shortage, and so one of the things that we're exploring, which may take some time,
is for the high school students, because a lot of them drive, to let us know if they need the transportation. So traditionally, the bus company, regardless of what bus company, would automatically route any student that was eligible for busing.
Yes, yes, and they route more students than can fit on the bus, knowing that all students will go on that bus. But the more students that we can give them to cut down routes, the more we'll have available. And they're on such a razor-thin margin now, one or two dominoes fall, and that has a havoc as we go through the day trying to make up for those. So anything we can do to make it easier for the bus company will make it more efficient for our students to get to and from school in a timely manner.
So I just want to make sure that the board knows that we will look to ask, are you 90% of the time, will you be a car rider? If you will be a car rider and you're routed on the bus, we'll ask that parents let us know so we can take them off the routes. So hopefully, we don't know that for sure, that it will make busing a little bit more efficient.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No
No more
questions.
questions?
No questions. All right. Number 3, instruction. Felice Hybert.
Hello, happy first day of school. It has been a long summer of planning and getting things ready, and we're so excited to welcome our students back into the buildings, and most importantly, our teachers back to the buildings. We're really excited for a great school year. So I have a couple updates for you. Number 1, in front of you, there's a draft brochure as well as a 1-page infographic just around some tutoring and student support that we have available throughout the district. The junior high is also developing a brochure to be shared about Twilight Academy at the junior high school. So these will be finalized in the next couple days, and we will get these out to families and students so that they can seek the supports that the district offers. Also, I wanted to share with you, over the past year, we have been partnered with Case Media and Pathways and some of our own students, community members, and staff to come up with a video that really highlights how important it is to make sure that all of the adults in the community lift up our students. And so with Dr. Walter's vision, I'd like to share a video with you that really showcases how important it is to have adults throughout the community lift up our kids. Where's my glasses?
Dejan.
Yeah, yes, 100%. That was amazing. And I think that video perfectly illustrates how important it is. And you never know, those small interactions that you have with every one of our students can really make a difference in terms of someone's life. I have tears in my eyes. I don't know why I'm crying. It's been emotional, but I think that's just a wonderful video. So thank you to everyone who was involved in that. That was amazing. I also have just a couple other pictures to share with you. Here it is. Just around some pictures that we took today. We had some trainings going on at Addison today. There was also Theraplay going on at Kankakee Community College. We have some pictures here of our kids coming back to school. Our kindergarten through third grade had LAA days today, and so they were doing some link-ups. And we were just happy to welcome kids back to the building. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Hybert?
Did you say the K's Media made that movie?
They were part of it. It was
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, but Case Media kind of partnered. Bill helped, along with, you can recognize a lot of our staff members, and of course, the star Dejan.
Okay.
Where is he? There he is!
All right, that was a very nice video. Anything else from the board? No? It's very inspiring. I look forward to watching it again.
Yes.
All right, we are on to number 4, finance.
We have a business and finance meeting Thursday at 5:30. We have a pretty lengthy agenda, most of which we've discussed in the past, and we're just revisiting and giving clarification for all of those agenda items.
All right. Number 5,
I have
garden.
a question.
I'm sorry,
I have a question.
go ahead.
As far as the junior high is concerned, when are they going to be done with the cafeteria?
I haven't had a chance to talk to our Director of Building and Grounds, but from what I understand, we're looking at close to November.
Okay.
So, but that was a discussion that we had today, and so then we wanted to clarify, like I'll probably be able to clarify an exact date tomorrow.
Okay, that's the only area they're going to, when they're doing the cafeteria, is that going to be it?
Yes, and then there's a couple of spaces around the cafeteria, but then after they're done with the cafeteria, and I think they've done a lot to the front already,
Yeah,
then they'll be done.
I was in there today in the cafeteria and need some.
Yeah, they have to finish up the cafeteria. Am I correct that you're still having lunch in the back gym? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
All right, item number 5, garden of prayer.
Okay, so Garden of Prayer was invited, and I think he may have forgotten because we didn't have a chance to remind him. So if we can move that to the next agenda. There's going to be a discussion about what services they provide. They also want to invite us to the Aroma Park building to see the services that are located in that building.
Okay. All right, item number 6, personnel.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Walters. Just want to go over just our building staff. We know today was the first day of school, and we want to make sure that all of our parents know if they have any questions, who they can contact for any issues in their buildings. So I'm just going to briefly go over our staff. Our central office staff, of course, our superintendent, Dr. Walters, Felice Hybert, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Shamika Fountain, Assistant Superintendent of HR, and Mr. Anthony Sykes is working with the business office. The directors, I know some of our directors and our principals had open houses for their own children on this evening, but if you are here, I just will ask you to stand when I call your name. We have Ms. Pamela Powell, Director of Early Childhood Education, so if you have any questions for Pregler. Ms. Jennifer Way, Director of District Improvement, and then Mr. Daniel Savage, he's the Director of Transportation, and you heard from him earlier. We also have Ms. Pamela Safor. Is she here? She is our Director of Secondary Education. Ms. Millicent Griffin, Director of Special Education. Dr. Robert Lopez, Director of Student Support Services. And Ms. Edith Petty, she's the Director of Bilingual Education. Our buildings for K through 3, Taft School, we have Ms. Kendra Leffridge is the principal, Ms. Heather Giles is the assistant principal. Mark Twain, Dr. Don Hill is the principal. Edison, Mr. Carol Kuster, and then we have a team working at Steuben School. 4 through 6, Lincoln Cultural Center, Ms. Kimberly Starkey is the principal. Ms. Joya Crosley is the assistant principal. For Kennedy Middle School, we have Dr. Karen Burns, she's the principal, and Ms. Amanda Grace is the assistant principal. And King Middle School, Ms. Adrienne West is the principal, and Ms. Candace Jackson is the assistant principal. Grades 7 through 8, Kankakee Junior High School, Ms. Stephanie Morgan Harris, principal. Mr. Joseph Davies, assistant principal. Ms. Nikisha Lee, assistant principal. And Ms. Sharon Sykes, the Dean of Restorative Practices. For grades 9 through 12, Dr. Renita Sims, principal. Mr. Calvin Works, assistant principal. Ms. Vernita Anderson Arsenal, assistant principal. Mr. Stephen Church, assistant principal, and Ms. Miriam Hill, I know she's here, assistant principal. So I just want to briefly go over all of the staff at School District 111. So if there are any questions that parents may have, then you can be directed to the correct administrator to help solve or work with you with any solutions or problems that you may be having with your students or with anything that has to do with the building. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions from the board? There are no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain. Okay, we're on to item E, public comments. We have quite a few, so if you have signed up for public comments, if you'll move to the right side of the auditorium, as I call your name, you can come forward. Public comment guidelines. Please direct your comments to the president. The president will recognize members of the audience who wish to make comments to the board regarding any topic to the school, related to the school district business. The board will take all comments under advisement without discussion, which means the board will not respond tonight. If a member of the public raises an issue or concern that requires follow-up, the board president or superintendent will do so in a timely manner. Please give your name and direct your comments to the president. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. All individuals are to conduct themselves with respect and civility toward others. Kristen Field.
I want to thank you for hearing me out tonight. I had some concerns regarding the transportation today. I have a daughter who is 10, and her bus never came this morning. She goes to daycare and is picked up there. And the daycare workers actually have the direct number to the busing department. And basically, they were told that they were sorry for our luck, but there was no driver, and there probably wouldn't be for the foreseeable future. And so I left work, took my daughter to school. She got there 40 minutes late. I guess I talked to Miss Sue Menard that does busing and attendance. She suggested that we find another way to get our child to school. I really don't have another way. So I am looking to you to resolve this for us. I was assured that she had a bus route for the way home tonight. She did not. I was having a hard time locating her. The daycare could not locate her. I could not get through to the school. I finally got through to the school, at which time I was told that she was going to go on a second wave of buses. She got to her daycare at 5:27 today. My frustration is we should have been notified. I checked the busing schedule. I got on Versatrans like I was told 1 week ago on Monday. She had a bus listed for both ways. There was a time listed for both ways. Today, when Ms. Menard ran it, there was not, she was right, there was not a bus listed for morning. I was never sent anything telling me this had changed and that my child would not have transportation. I'm just asking for more openness. We just want to know what's going on. So I probably could have arranged a ride for her this morning had I known. But instead, I had to leave work. I then took my child who was late, and then in the afternoon, spent my afternoon trying to figure out where she was. That's unacceptable. If she is not going to get on the bus that I was told she would be on, I should have received some sort of message. And I didn't. And I feel that this is a chronic problem. Last year, I dealt with I have a high schooler as well, the scheduling issue. Kept being promised, weren't really kept in the loop. I just asked for more transparency is all. And then I guess I ask, I don't know what to do with my daughter tomorrow. I can't take her in the morning, so does she miss school? Is there gonna be a bus? When is the bus coming? I honestly don't know what to do, and I have a feeling that a lot of the other parents feel the same way. We are not sure what to do tomorrow. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Gina Phillips.
My name is Gina Phillips. My son Tyler is starting second grade at Edison. I'm here just because I have a couple of concerns. So Tyler's autistic, and he's kind of a runner, which anybody who's dealt with Tyler already knows this. He was at Pregler for 2 years. He was at Taft for 2 years. He had to be chased down twice by Mr. Lee last year. He was halfway to Kennedy before Mr. Lee caught him. We've done everything we can do on our own. He wears an Angel Sense tracker that costs us a fortune. We know where he is at all times. We have numerous people around town who are first responders that we can hit a button if he gets away from school and they can track him. Some of them are police officers, some of them are just people in the community. He's never gotten far enough away from school that it was a huge issue. When he was at Taft, I kind of felt comfortable because I know the neighborhood. Now he's going to Edison, which there was a lot of mix-up over the summer. I kept getting calls from Mark Twain. They wanted me to register him, wanted to know why I hadn't registered him, because he was supposed to be registered there, and when I explained to them he was supposed to go to Edison, they argued with me about that and told me that they would have someone else call me. No one did. Finally, about a week and a half later, my husband reached out to Ms. Griffin, and we had requested an IEP meeting back in June because we had taken our son and he finally got his official diagnosis. We've been waiting years for an appointment and COVID only made it worse. And the first thing that developmental pediatrician down at Carl asked us is if our son had a one-to-one at school. And I told him no. And he said, well, he needs one because he's a significant danger to himself because he's going to get away and you're not going to find him. So we requested that right away in June. Kathy Stockton got back to my husband the next day and said she doesn't work over the summer. She would forward her request to her boss. A couple weeks later is when I got the call from Mark Twain asking me to register my son. I told them we're waiting for a call back to set up an IEP meeting, and we were told he was supposed to be going to Edison. Never heard anything, so about a week and a half later, my husband reached out to Ms. Griffin. She set up an IEP meeting for August 9th. Only 3 people showed up. There was one occupational therapist, Mr. Kuster, is that the principal? Yes, he showed up, and Kathy Stockton and my husband, only 4 people there. I mean, that right there, I understand people have emergencies, but they could have canceled it. So like, right there, that's a problem. They weren't there. He explained to them why we were there, asking for the one-on-one, at which time we were told they they had to do their own evaluation, even though we had a developmental pediatrician at Carl write up a recommendation. So they set another IEP meeting for September 15th, which we have a few weeks of school until then, in which time they're supposed to evaluate him. My husband took him to meet his teacher, and everyone at Edison has been nothing short of fantastic, I will tell you that. I'm excited about his teacher, I'm excited about the teacher's aide. However, my son got out in front of my husband, the teacher's aide, and the principal. My husband chased him almost to Maple Street and brought him back in. They've agreed to put a child safety lock on the door. We had one at Taft because my husband purchased it and installed it in Ms. Heisma's room because he kept getting out. We've hired an advocate. We've retained an advocate to come to his next IEP meeting to try to help us fight for a one-on-one. I've never been so scared in my life. I'm scared to send him to school on Wednesday because I'm afraid he'll get away. I called Mr. Kuster on Friday because we're also concerned that the playground isn't fenced in. There's no fencing anywhere. He's been trying to help. He said he arranged for a temporary fence to be put up today, and then tomorrow they're supposed to measure for permanent fencing, and they have not put up the temporary fence yet. I understand things take time. I've told him I don't mind if my son doesn't go to recess for however long it takes to get a temporary fence. If he has to stay inside, he has to stay inside. But I have never in my life been terrified to send my kid to school, and we're not asking for a one-on-one because we want him to have special attention. We're asking because what if he runs into Maple Street and gets hit by a car? What if he runs into the neighborhood and no one can find him? We're doing everything we can ourselves. We're working with his doctor. We're trying to get him on some medication to maybe calm him down. But when only 3 people showed up to his IEP meeting, that was the first discouraging thing. He's at a new school. The decision was made to put the special needs class. This is the first year for this classroom at Edison. Now, some of you may have special needs kids, so you may walk into a room like I do. It's like you're a Secret Service agent. You're like looking for ways to get out. You're looking for every single danger to your kid. And I felt like nobody noticed any of that at Edison. And Mr. Kuster told me he was sorry. He had never thought about a fence or thought about any of those things. And this is the first year these kids are there. I may be the only one speaking, but I guarantee my kid's not the only one who might have this problem. He developed quite the little fan base at Taft. When he would try to run out the door, there was 3 other ones right behind him. And I know there's at least 1 kid in his class that was with him last year.
Okay,
So-
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your time is up.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to go on public record of my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Dim, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I can't read your writing.
I'm just loud naturally, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read your handwriting.
It's horrible. I went to Bradley, though. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and everyone here. My name's Jason Diaz. My son Joaquin is a junior here at Kankakee High School. I want to say I'm not here to bash anybody because that accomplishes absolutely nothing. I'm here, so hopefully we can have like a discussion or we can start figuring out what we can do to help what is going on. I'm not naive to think that Dr. Walters or any member of the school board knows everything that's going on with every office or every person in the school district. That's just, it's not feasible. So I personally don't feel anyone can blame you guys for little things that happen. With that being said, you are the elected people, so it's going to come back on you. You know, we have no one else to turn to. We have to ask you guys what is going on with that. Some of the most creative people I know personally in my life were educated from start to finish in Kankakee School District. My son, probably one of the smartest kids I know, been a student in Kankakee High School or Kankakee School District from kindergarten until junior year, and up until every year, I've always said I wouldn't want my son to go anywhere else in the state of Illinois because I love everything he's done here, everything he's accomplished, everything he's learned. I still believe that. I still believe that this teaching staff and administrative staff, that you guys have some amazing people. I know them, a lot of them, and I know that for a fact that you guys have amazing people. When I made a post today, my son sent me a message this morning, and with the line outside. I can't imagine, I understand that there was an incident that happened a few days ago, but I can't imagine that wasn't discussed, that someone had a meeting and say, hey, this is going to happen tomorrow. We need to be prepared. The lady that did the human resources, she named about 87 people, it seems like, that were there. That's the stuff that then maybe they should have been out there in the line, helping check IDs, helping check uniforms. Little stuff like that is stuff that could be done. I got, obviously, as you all know, the field house is a big issue. You're spending $16 or something million on that, and I totally understand that many people don't understand how funding works, and when it comes from the government, and that certain things have to get spent on certain items. That's some things, I think, if that's the case, that the school board is responsible for putting that out there and saying, hey, this is why we have to spend this money on this. I would love to hire 50 security guards so our students feel safe. I would love to do that, but we can't do that with this money. We have to do this with this sort of money. Many people don't understand that, which it's politics and government stuff is fusing. People complain about salaries. I'm a state employee. I understand that, Dr. Walters, you make your salary based on what Illinois makes. I'm not ever going to judge you for what your salary you're making, or whatever it may be, the average of Illinois. I can't. That's good for you. You went to school. You've busted your butt, I'm sure, for years. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, when we have all kinds of stuff going on in the schools, the busing, like this busing thing. I got hired on as a supervisor at IDOT in 2012, and I had to let a guy leave probably 8 times over 4 months because his daughter was not picked up. So this is not a new issue. So at what point in time are we going to say, hey, let's look for another company, and let's hold that company accountable? If you don't do that, then you guys are gone. Maybe let's get together as a community and ask the state leaders, ask Senator Joyce, ask Representative Haas, and say, hey, can we figure out a way, maybe we can give teachers or staff an incentive to go get their CDL and their passenger endorsement and pay these people. I'll gladly go get my Class B passenger and help you guys out if I'm not working. And I guarantee you there's probably a lot of parents that would do that. And I know that's not on you guys right now, but that's a discussion that we can have and we can bring to the state people and say, hey, we have a problem here. We have parents having to leave work because their kids aren't getting to school. Again, like I said, I know this isn't personally everyone's fault here, but again, it falls on you guys. I've reached out to a few people before. When we're talking about the field house, they said there's an athletic committee that was formed. Does this school district have a mental health committee? There is. That's great. I think you guys should put that out for and ask people to get out. And just do it, start them early, everything. Anyways, thank you for your time, and I hope everything gets figured out soon. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Gretchen Allen.
Bless you.
You scared me.
Bless you.
Hello. I had to write mine out ahead of time, so. So there are bus driver shortages, we all know it, but were we prepared for complete routes being ignored this morning? The first day of school, and no bus was sent for my son's route, Aroma Park 4816, because apparently there's no bus driver. The only reason I know this is because I picked up my son's friend who rides the same bus, and one of his friend's parents called someone who I don't know. That's part of my problem. I don't know who to call to find out if the bus is just late or not coming at all. I'm not trying to randomly call and waste a bunch of people's time, so just tell me, who is the point person for this? My son was assigned a different bus for the ride home this afternoon, but again, there was no driver for this route, so he was told other buses would drop their kids off and circle back for more kids. How is this going to work?
Is my son going to be waiting after school for an indefinite amount of time every day for a bus driver that doesn't know my kid's route? It doesn't seem like this is a viable solution when bus drivers only have so much time before they have to run their routes to other schools that let out later. Will my son have a bus driver tomorrow? Next week? Never? Am I stuck taking my kid to school every day? Am I now the bus? Luckily, I'm normally home, but what about the parents that are working and rely on the bus to get their kids to and from school? What are they supposed to do when no bus shows up for their kids? How do they even know? Because let's face it, there are kids out there not telling their parents. My problem is that I'm not seeing any information being distributed about this. No communication. Again, I need information. I need clear-cut instructions of who I can call to find out if my son has a bus or not. I need to know if you are aware that a whole bus route, or obviously more, were missed this morning. And what is your plan going forward for these routes that have no drivers? Were you aware before today that no one would be showing up for these routes? If so, why would you not try to communicate that to parents ahead of time? This is an important issue, and parents need to know what is going on. They need acknowledgement and updates, and to know who to call to find out if there's a bus coming for their child or not. That app that shows bus info is utterly pointless if there's no actual bus coming. I realize this is an ongoing issue, and I'm not expecting a resolution right this second, but what I do expect is, again, communication, updates, honesty, acknowledgement, and to know that you're aware and actively trying to come up with a resolution. A simple Facebook post this morning would have, with this info, would have been appreciated. I would rather hear something like, right now these routes have no drivers, but we are working on it, and here's what you can do if your child has no other way to get to school, than hearing nothing, silence. Please, communicate better. That's really all I'm asking. Obviously, I wrote this before that gentleman gave the update, and I appreciate that information, but it proves my point because the only people that heard that information are the people that are here and the people that are watching on Facebook. Nobody else knows that. Like, it went down from 20 routes to 5, So again, I still don't know if my kid has a bus tomorrow or not. If there are any parents out there that have kids, or high school kids in Aroma Park, 4816, that want to coordinate like carpooling or something, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Luke Shepherd.
Good evening, Ms. President, Board, Superintendent. My name's Luke Shepherd, lifelong resident of Kankakee School District 111, and I'm here to bring some concerns. I was here at last board meeting and took it all in and everything, and I know the majority of it was the field house versus community center. And I'm going to hit on some different points that you all need to know about or hear, because throughout the district. But let's talk about the community center versus a field house. Field house is great. I understand what it's for, sports and all that stuff. But you talk about a community center. With the incident that happened a few days ago, a community center is for students or residents have a place to go to in their community. This building here and your future field house / community center is at the far end of your community. You have schools within your district, within those communities that those kids need help with. You should be opening up those schools instead of building a $26 million building. I love the idea, but I think those buildings need to be open so those kids have a way to get to, walk 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks instead of all the way at the end of the community. Enough said on that. The incident the other day that happened here, we know there's a timeline, we've seen that. And what I've been hearing, and it's sad for the student, but I hope there are repercussions for that student. Because something has to be said and something has to be put down that said this will not happen at Kankakee School District 111. Repercussions have to happen. Today, there was an incident out on the fields. I've heard it from a couple parents and a couple players that a coach was using the N-word and the F-word at one of the players, telling you, get off my effing field, now multiple times. When it happened, a certain person tried to videotape that until they got caught videotaping it. I hope, I'm pretty sure none of you have heard of that yet, but I hope you guys will take care of that. I know people get hot and all that stuff, but that cannot happen at the school level. Cannot. The busing, I know that's a thing. My son goes to the junior high. He comes over here for sports. There are no busing for it. Something has to be done. My work schedule allows me to take him 2 days. I can't take him in all of the other days. He's going to miss games and practice. That can't happen. Something has to be done to get all the sports from the junior high to the high school that are played over here. Last but not least, I shouldn't say there's one more after that. Last meeting, you brought up Arundel Park and the possible sale of it. I represent a baseball team out there, and when you closed down Arundel Park, you said right in the meeting, the baseball fields will always be in the baseball hands. I hope that is still true when it comes time to sell that building, whoever buys it. Last but not least, I am friends, acquaintance with many people in Kankakee School District 111. Don't hold this against me, because I just need to bring this to your attention. I support Kankakee School District 111. I'm here to help you whenever I can and always will. Thank you.
Thank you. Jamie McPhail. Okay, doesn't seem. Are you coming? No? All right. Thank you. All right.
Can I make a comment on?
Dr. Walters, go ahead.
So I know this is a little unorthodox, but one of the things that, the next time we meet as a board, well, we meet on Thursday for Finance Committee, but the next time we meet as a board is September. And so one of the things that I would like to explore, in a previous district where I was the superintendent, we did encourage staff to drive the buses because we had the same issue. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that they would be working for Illinois Central and they would be working for Kankakee School District 111. And so they're going to have less time on our clock. So, for example, if they pick up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they drop off, they're going to lose time that they're assigned to us. So they're paid from 2 different places. It worked out really well until people forgot, and then people got mad that they had those responsibilities. Does that make sense? And so that's something I can explore if the board wants to discuss that possibility, but they would be on 2 different payrolls, and then they would lose a little bit of the time. Do I only get a certain amount of time?
The time's up.
You still understood.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. So they would lose a little time. They would have to have a little bit of a reduced responsibility in the morning and a little bit of a reduced responsibility in the afternoon. And the district pays whatever we normally pay, and Illinois Central pays for just the time that they're doing that route. And then they have to keep the bus wherever they're located because they immediately get on the bus to go pick up, kids. So that is an option that we've used in the past. I will tell you, though, that was a smaller district and all of the students had IEPs. So it's a little bit of a different situation than Kankakee, but it's an option that might alleviate some of the problems because the problem is simply that they don't have enough bus drivers.
All right.
Luke, I have an answer for the junior high because it's me. Coach Pickett has arranged for 2 people to get in the vans, pick up at LCC, the junior high, King and Kennedy.
That's not how it's structured.
That's what they're
Are you talking about the vans?
For softball?
For softball and baseball.
Oh, no,
After
okay, for
school.
softball, there is, okay.
Baseball.
I'm sorry, for after school stuff.
Okay.
So I know that he's got that arranged, and I've got it arranged. My team they know what they're doing, but I know that Coach Pickett has taken care of 2 people to do the 2 buses starting. I thought they might have started today, but maybe tomorrow.
So probably a really fair way to do that is to offer to all the athletes that come over into the high school, and I don't know what that number is, And so can we explore that further to make sure that it's offered to all the athletes?
I'm going to drive the bus to go get my softball kids.
Okay, because can we look at, can we just make sure that we, because I don't want to get overwhelmed with other, like, I don't know how many athletes are coming over here. Like, I don't have that information.
I have 14. I don't know how many I think you're 16 boys.
Can you give me time to explore that further? Just give me until I can talk to Ms. Harris right after the meeting.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So I had that in my head, but I have to make sure that it's offered to every student that's coming over.
I think those are the only two.
But I don't know. So can I look into it, please?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
But okay.
I don't know. So I just don't know.
All right.
Oh, there's
We need
25.
to, I'm sorry.
Okay, we might have a number, and if you just give me until like the end of the night, then we can have Ms. Harris communicate to the parents on what their options are. So if you just give me like 1 hour to talk to Mr. Savage and talk to Ms. Harris, who are both here, by the end of the night, we'll have a plan and we'll know all the students that are affected by this issue.
Okay. And now on to consent agenda, action items. We need to make an adjustment to
F9.
number 9, approval of recommended salary adjustment. That needs to be removed. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Williams, the second.
Second.
Second by Gathing. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Archie,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes, and the motion carries. And now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Gathing, second.
Second.
Second by Bolin. Any questions from the board? No questions? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Bolin,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes, and the motion carries. Item G, action item, approval of board member expense for reimbursement. Can I have a motion?
I move.
Moved by Gathing, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Johnston. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Verret,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
Bolin,
Yes.
Wells,
Abstain. And the motion carries. We have no business.
It's her.
Information and proposals, Freedom of Information Act. You don't want to speak on that? Calendar notes.
Yeah.
We have an LAA day for 4th through 12th grade on August 29th. K through 3rd will be in person. On August 31st, the board and the assistant superintendents have a retreat together at 5 p.m. at LCC with Dr. Fisher. September 5th is Labor Day. There is no school. September 12th is the next board meeting at Edison Primary at 7 p.m. Is there anything further from the board?
Can I have some clarification on the issue that was raised on the busing? Is there a way that we could make sure that these parents know like tomorrow morning whether there's a bus or not?
So there would have to be a point of contact in every building. How many students do we have on the buses? About 4,000? Or is it 3,000? So we have 4,000 students on buses. And so Mr. Savage is the Director of Transportation, but he couldn't possibly field all those questions.
No, but it seems to me that if we know a route's been canceled, can't we not either even post it on Facebook or something?
So I think the problem was was there an immediate notification that there was?
So the first notification the first clue that I got that we weren't having all of our routes run this morning was obviously parents from unfortunately, was parents calling in to say my student wasn't picked up. At 11:30, we received an email saying, here's the routes that didn't run this morning, and here's the routes that won't run this afternoon. So that as soon as I got that, we sent that out to the schools so that we could start working on a plan find some routes so that students could get home as quick as possible, and then started working on the next day also, so that we wouldn't have that number of routes with drivers. So
And I think I understand that issue, and it's unacceptable, in my opinion, for the bus company not to let you know in advance that there's not going to be a route run. Because we have an obligation, I believe these parents are right, we have an obligation to communicate that with them, especially if a kid's on a bus an hour and a half later that he or she's supposed to come home. I'd be frantic too if I didn't know where my kid was and nobody was answering the phone. So we got to figure something out here to communicate. If a bus route's been canceled, we got to hold the bus company's feet to the fire. They have a contract with us. We pay them a lot of money, and it's their obligation, one, to have enough people. I understand they can't create them, but they can sure as heck communicate with us when they don't have them, so we can talk to parents.
We did actually ask a couple of weeks ago, what did they look like in terms of their staffing pattern? And they gave us the impression that
that it was going to be, that, yeah, they had more drivers than last year, and they were hiring more drivers, and they expected to be not fully staffed, but be able to cover all routes efficiently.
Don't misunderstand, I'm not blaming anybody in the district, except we dropped the ball in communication once we found out. But it's not our fault that they're not upholding their end of the contract.
But I had this experience in a previous district, and we went on and on and on where we were promised that, they would have, I think it was a driver issue. I think the solution is that we may have to be very creative on how we help them get drivers. So.
I think they need to be creative on how they help themselves too. But in the meantime, when it doesn't happen, when they fail, then we fail if we don't at least notify parents that your kids are not going to have a bus this morning, or they're going to be late this afternoon. You can pick them up if you want.
So we have a better idea of what they haven't covered for tomorrow, but that's only if it stays the same by the morning.
Yeah.
So what they tell us at night may not actually be what happens in the morning. And honestly, based on how busing works, they should have known by about 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's what time the bus drivers usually report.
Well, let's treat it like a snow day. And even if we have to go to the radio station and let people know, we'll put it on the radio station if bus routes are not running.
Yeah, but they have to inform us.
Right, no, I
So
get it.
you have a contact person at the bus company, right?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay, so we'll work on that.
Thank you. And I'm not placing the blame on the lack of bus drivers. It's just, I think we have to be creative on communication at this point with parents.
But even communication, I think we also have to be creative in finding alternative options for covering those routes.
I grew up in a farm school district where all the teachers drove all the buses.
Well, we did that at Speed. We had other people helping to drive, and it actually solved the problem. I don't know if it'll solve the problem here, because we have to see who's willing to drive, but they will get extra compensation for doing it.
Sure. Thank you. I'm sorry to, prolong the meeting.
If there's nothing further from the board, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Bolin, second by Archie. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
this meeting is now adjourned.